Hey guys, All in Crypto here, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. Hopefully you're all having an amazing day wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Today we're going to be looking at some comments made recently by Gary Genslar that suggest all proof-of-stake cryptocurrencies are securities. Now we're going to be getting into this because we know that the cryptocurrency market, certainly in the US, very much exists in this unregulated grey area. Now, I am very bullish on regulations and what they do for this industry. I think they cement this industry as an industry. You know, crypto is still out of reach from many institutions within the likes of the US and the UK because of a lack of clarity in regards to regulations. And when that clarity is reached, you're going to see an onslaught of capital flowing into this market and really, what's the right word? Commercializing it. And this, I believe, is going to take our very small but significant cryptocurrency market, which sits at just over $1 trillion, into the tens. And we've seen a real heating up of regulatory action within the first half of this year. And I think that's going to continue. And I ultimately think that regulation is going to be coming a lot sooner than people expect. There's going to be casualties of it. But overall, I think it's going to benefit the entire industry. So we're going to be looking at some recent comments. We're also going to be looking at actually talking about SVB, which is Silicon Valley Bank, third biggest bank or second biggest bank in America to go bust. There were some really interesting comments made from a couple of sources that essentially suggest that the people that have taken over SVB, which I think is HSBC, have essentially got to cut ties with all crypto-related activity, which is interesting. And then also, even though this is quite negative, the Genslar news, we've got the likes of Fidelity Crypto quietly went live, giving millions of retail customers access to Bitcoin. You also have BlackRock CEO Larry Fink essentially coming out and disagreeing with, or not disagreeing, saying that the US needs to kind of speed things up or they're going to really miss out on this innovation. And we know that Biden's executive order on the cryptocurrency market did state that part of the tasks that were supposed to be undergone by the correct regulators that have overseen this is to ensure that the US maintain at the top of the kind of technological revolution that is crypto. You know, they stay competitive in regards to the global stage. So let's get into it, guys. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of my face. Gary Genslar suggests proof of stake tokens are securities. Security and Exchange Commissioner Gary Genslar suggests Wednesday that tokens using staking protocols could be considered securities under US law. Genslar suggests that the returns token holders see from staking indicate that those tokens are securities and would need to be registered as such under the US law. Securities and Exchange Commissioner Gary Genslar suggests to reporters on Wednesday that tokens using staking protocols could be considered securities. The investing public is investing, anticipating a return, anticipating something on these tokens, whether they're proof of stake tokens, where they're also looking to get returns on those proof of stake tokens and getting 2 for 18% returns. Genslar said, whatever they're promoting and putting into a protocol and locking up their tokens in protocol, a protocol that's often a small group of entrepreneurs and developers are developing. I would just suggest that each of these tokens operators seek to come into compliance, and the same with the intermediaries. So we've already seen him go after the likes of Kraken and a number of other exchanges for essentially promoting and offering security-like services. And we're now seeing him sort of call into question these individual cryptos and asking the people behind them or that came up with them to come and look for compliance. Genslar made the remark after being asked for his reaction to statements made last week by Commodity Future Trading Commission Chair Rostin Beanham, who reiterated his own beliefs and that of his agency that Ether is a commodity. So this is interesting. And actually, if you look at Fidelity, they've actually allowed for Bitcoin and Ethereum trading. It's a Bitcoin and Ethereum kind of ETF that's being proposed, or Bitcoin by Grayscale and so on and so forth. So there's this kind of understanding, I guess, that Bitcoin and Ethereum are not securities. However, Gensler's obviously trying to give an overreach, and of course, he would love to see crypto brought under his jurisdiction. Gensler spoke to reporters after a commission vote advanced 3 proposed rules amid a tightening cybersecurity, consumer privacy, and system standards for the security industry, including at some firms involved in digital assets. Gensler has previously said that proof-of-stake protocols could fall under US security laws, but he elaborated in more detail during Wednesday's remarks. The SEC also recently undertook its first staking as a service enforcement action and settled with Kraken last month. New York Attorney General James has separately argued that Ether is an unregistered security and that its creator, including Vitalik Buterin, are not in compliance with the US securities laws as part of an enforcement lawsuit filed against crypto firm KuCoin. So KuCoin's come under fire. We've seen this real regulatory kind of onslaught. People deem this as extremely bearish. I've came out and taken the opposite approach and said, yes, there's going to be casualties, but ultimately we need regulations in the likes of the US for this industry to thrive, because it will not exist and it will not get to the levels that it needs to without that. Unless the governments that be and the powers that be like the SEC get toppled, which isn't my most likely scenario, then they're going to ultimately look to seek to bring this stuff in line with regulatory framework. Now, this is very interesting, just to get rid of my face again, because we know what happened with Silicon Valley Bank. We know Circle were caught up in this. This was another interesting, I think this was shared by Lynn Alton. The 2 sources added that any buyers of Signature Bank must agree to give up all crypto business at the bank, but an FDIC spokesperson told Reuters after publication that the agency would not require divestment of crypto activity as part of any sales. So that is, it's crazy that some people are calling for this, and pointed to prior comments from FDIC chairman Martin Grunberg that the agency is not looking to prohibit any particular activity by banks. So this is a bit of a nothing burger, but it's very interesting and kind of contradicts maybe Gensler's harsh comments. Also, you had Fidelity, which is a massive trading institution, actually look to launch their, and this is all news from yesterday, guys, reporting it today, Fidelity Crypto, which has now gone live, which is essentially giving millions of retail customers access to Bitcoin and Ethereum, which is another step in the right direction. We then also have comments from the likes of BlackRock CEO. BlackRock CEO touts tokenization, warns US lagging in innovation, underlying technologies in the digital asset space could have exciting applications for the asset management industry, according to BlackRock's Larry Fink. So we covered Larry Fink's statements on all this at the start of the year, and we said this is huge news. BlackRock Chief Larry Fink highlighted the financial headway taking place in some countries other than the US, which appeared to be falling behind in comparison. In an annual letter to investors published Wednesday, so yesterday, Larry Fink wrote about rising interest in the digital asset space over the past years, even though bankrupt crypto exchange FTX really captured the spotlight. He called attention to the faster and more efficient payments in India, Brazil, and parts of Africa. India's United Payment Infrastructure, UPI, a type of instant real payments, has become a roaring success as it is now the most widely used form of payment in the country. A similar system in Brazil, called the PIX, has evolved the way locals pay. By contrast, many developed markets, including the US, are lagging behind in innovation, leaving the cost of payments much higher. He said. So we also do know the Fed now coming out. Fink oversees the world's largest asset manager, which is nearly $8 trillion in assets under management, and he believes the asset management industry is yet to utilize some of the most promising technologies in the digital asset space. Specifically, the tokenization of assets is an attractive use case for BlackRock CEO. It points to chance of driving efficiency in capital markets, shortening value chains, and improving cost and access for investors. Also, governance is a massive part of this. It's a headache for those guys. So ultimately, guys, I think that right now, and we heard Brian Armstrong's comments on this, all these institutions are licking their lips, waiting for regulatory clarity to enter. This is coming. We are going to see the tokenization of everything. And this is the next evolution of value, in my opinion. And this is how it's going to interoperate throughout the world. You're going to see most things on chain. And ultimately, that is still all to come. So you guys have an amazing opportunity in front of you. Please don't miss out on it, and please don't get swayed away by comments that often fall very short from the likes of Genslar, who is just on a warpath, and he's likely serving sort of higher ups than himself that have a vested interest in bringing this market to its knees before stepping in and taking it over. That is all I've got for you in this video, guys. If you've enjoyed the content, as always, a like is appreciated, so as a comment, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks a lot for watching, ladies and gentlemen. See you in the next.